Norrens Constance Marino, and many of you saw Nora yesterday evening, emceeing our great banquet and plenary last night. But for those who don't know about Nora, I'm going to give you a little introduction. Okay. So Nora has been a vegan and animal rights activist for 15 years. She founded the Animal Cruelty Exposure Fund, a not-for-profit organization that exposes animal cruelty through mainstream media and organizes protests. To date, ACEF has gotten 5 anti-cruelty, pro-vegan commercials on television in several states across the nation, airing on CNN and other mainstream channels. Nora is an experienced trial attorney with 2 decades behind her, concentrating on representing the injured and those whose civil rights are violated. She also frequently litigates pro bono on behalf of animals and those that protect them, and is often contacted by news media to comment on animal stories, being quoted as an animal rights attorney due to her extensive legal knowledge of animal cruelty statutes and other related issues. In the past, Nora ran for state senate in her home state of New York and was a JAG officer in the U.S. Army Reserves, and she's currently a mayoral appointee on New York City's Taxi and Limousine Commission. Nora speaks regularly at animal rights events, lobbies for animal-friendly legislation, and is a regular on the protest scene. In her spare time, she sings in a rock band. Maybe she'll give us a performance later. Let's welcome Nora Constance Marino.
Okay. I really have to follow him, really? Come on, that's not fair. Okay. I'm going to do my best. Those are big shoes to fill. Welcome, everybody. I was asked to speak here tonight regarding the theme of this evening's plenary is successes. So I was asked to speak about some successes in my home state of New York, particularly the fur and declawing successes, and I say in the city and state of New York because one is state-related and one is city-related. Okay, this is the down arrow, right? Okay, so first we're going to start with the banning of cat declawing in the state of New York. So as most of you know, declawing a cat is just like cutting off someone's fingers at the knuckle. And it's a terrible procedure that causes much pain. It's really mutilation, and people do it because they don't want their furniture scratched. That's the main reason. So, Assemblyman Linda Rosenthal, along with Senator Gianaris and the PAW Project, have fought very long and hard to get this banned. Then on June 4th, 2019, the New York State legislature signed it into law. But it still was not signed by the governor, so it technically wasn't a law, but it passed the first 2 houses, our state assembly and our state senate. And as this headline says, it is brutal, and that is a picture of Linda Rosenthal, who was our hero in New York for doing this. The Washington Post on June 4th, 2019 covered this. All the major papers covered that this passed the Assembly and Senate. And there's just a little detail about the statute. It will provide a $1,000 fine on any vet who performs the procedure. And then the New York Times, July 22nd, which is just not even a week ago, New York State bans cat declawing, signed by the governor. First state in the nation to ban this horrific practice. The Washington Post quoted Assemblywoman Rosenthal, several cities in the United States and the majority of Canadian provinces have banned declawing, according to Rosenthal. The procedure is also outlawed in Britain, Germany, Austria, Sweden, and several other countries. I did not know that, honestly, until I started to prepare for tonight's plenary. The Post continued, acknowledging that New York is leading the way at the state level. Rosenthal said she hopes others will follow its lead. Lawmakers in California, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and West Virginia are pushing to pass similar legislation. And wow, that's just wow. That's great news. I had no idea that there were these pending bills in all these other states. So this bill didn't come easy. It took 15 years for it to become law, and I have a great shot of some of us activists waiting for it to pass. 15 years, folks. It took 15 years. But finally, there was a victory at last. So the next bill, I believe, will not take that long because I believe we as a nation and perhaps the world are at a tipping point, especially based on what Damien was just talking about. The dictionary defines a tipping point as the point at which a series of small changes or incidents become significant enough to cause a larger, more important change. And I believe we are there. So this is just a little diagram of what a tipping point is. So the boulder could be the decline bill over the past 15 years, but once you get to that point, things start flowing much more smoothly. So I don't want the point that the decline bill took 15 years to pass to discourage anyone thinking, God, these things take so long. That bill was started 15 years ago, and we have progressed since then tremendously. Our thinking has evolved. Our consideration of animal rights and animal care has broadened greatly. So I think there's a change moving, a wave really sweeping. So now we have the proposed fur ban in New York City. And this is the New York Post, May 15th, the day we had the city council hearing. I was present. Many of the New York activists that are in the audience today were present. Many of us testified. Pictured here is our speaker, Corey Johnson, who's a big supporter of the bill. And this is what it was like outside of City Hall that day. This is from the Patch, May 15, 2019. There was a big opposition to the bill. The fur industry showed up in droves as well to oppose this bill. Of course, we had our people supporting the bill. And this is inside the chamber. You can see on the left in blue were all the supporters of the ban, and on the right-hand side were mostly advocates in opposition to the bill. There were some of the pro people peppered through that side as well because of the seating situation. And you can see, I don't know if you can see this picture, but up in the balcony, it was completely filled. It was a packed chamber that day. That's Tim Gunn, fashion icon and Project Runway host Tim Gunn showed up to testify in favor of the ban. Really huge to have him there. Also pictured in this photograph is fashion designer Joshua Katcher, who's an amazing person, amazing vegan, an amazing fashion icon. They both testified so eloquently and so beautifully. The rest of us really could have just gone home. But we stayed and testified anyway. The Post covered Tim Gunn showing up. So where's the New York City fur ban bill now? Frankly, the jury's still out. It is not a law yet in our city. We're hoping to have a vote on it shortly. So I looked into who else has fur bans. Los Angeles, which is the largest city so far, San Francisco, Berkeley, West Hollywood, and Sao Paulo, Brazil. Who knew? So obviously California is taking the lead in this. I also just looked into what countries have banned fur, and I was quite surprised. Fur farming, countries that have banned fur farming in one form or another: Luxembourg, Belgium, India, Norway, Germany, Denmark, Croatia, Japan, New Zealand, Netherlands, Hungary, Austria, United Kingdom. So that's quite a bit of progress we've made in the fur industry, both nationwide and internationally. So like I said before, I really believe that we are at a tipping point in our consciousness as a species. And I just wanted to end this with some quotes to hopefully inspire people. As President Barack Obama said, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." And another one of my favorite people that I admire greatly, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. And this goes for our need for instant gratification. A bill is proposed, we want to see it pass. And the decloning bill took 15 years. Like I said, I don't think future bills are going to take that long, but they don't come automatically or inevitably. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle, the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals, such as all of you and all of us at this conference, all of us who weren't able to come to this conference, the animal rights movement. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase. This is another Martin Luther King quote, and I think it is so brilliant. And it's like driving a car at night when your headlights are on. You can only see a few feet ahead of you. You can't see your destination, but you know you're going to get there if you just keep driving, and we have to just keep driving in our movements. So the next bill will not render us the skeletons waiting for it to get passed like the declawing bill. The next bill that gets passed will be celebrating like this. Thank you very much, folks. Oh my God, I didn't click the clicker. Jason, I did it. I forgot to click the clicker. I'm doing it on my computer, so let me do that again. The next bill won't leave us like this. It'll leave us like that. Now it makes sense, right? I love Joydy's laugh. Is he the most infectious laugh you've ever heard? Thank you very much.